Alright guys, I need to get this engine out because the throwout bearing on the clutch is not playing nicely. So last episode, got everything ready for the first drive. Put the clutch in, went to put it into gear and it wouldn't go into gear. There's about 10 mil play in that throwout bearing. I don't know what's happened, but I'm going to get the engine out because we need to do a couple of things to the engine. Mainly the belt guide on the front here. But yeah, let's get this engine out for the 74th time, I think it is. Alright, let's do this quickly and then we'll fix that throwout bearing. I think the main thing I'm gonna have an issue with at the moment is space. Got the auto and the EZ30 there. It's just rubbish, I can get rid of that. Because I need to drop the gearbox as well to put the reverse light switch in, the new one that I got. That I've tested and it works. So I need to do a clean up first before we start pulling this thing apart again. Okay, before I start pulling things apart, I was just looking at the old clutch and it has, this is what the new one does. So maybe it's okay. Maybe I need to, so there needs to be more throw. Maybe it's to do with the pedal position. Alright, I've adjusted the pedal. Let's see how much throw we have in that fork now. Alright, so before I start pulling everything apart, let's put it back together and see if that solved the issue. So starter will go back on and then just this intake pipe here, and we should be able to start it and see if we can move it. Hopefully I can. Alright, she starts. So with the ABS, it's the TCU because information goes through there. I believe I just have to put an earth into a terminal. That's why I kept all the wires that I pulled out for. So I could just pin it and earth it out. That's what I heard you could do, so. Alright. Still can't get it in. Got so much more throw. Okay, that didn't work. Awesome. It's not, it's clutch related because it goes into gear. The only thing I've changed is the clutch pedal rod and the clutch. I've changed a lot. Alright guys, pretty sure I just need to bleed the clutch, and I bled it from the master. I need to do the slave cylinder. I'm pretty sure when it was all apart that extended and gets air in it. So let's see if I can do that on the car. Alright guys, I think it's like day 5 of trying to get this clutch bled. I've got this little one person bleeder. Let's see how I go with this one. I've seen a few videos and quite a lot of people struggle with this, I think. Or is it just me? It's probably just me. Alright, we're slowly getting there guys. Getting the air out of the system. There's quite a bit. Alright, pretty sure I've done the master. I'm going to go down to the slave cylinder, give that a go, bleed that. Then I'll move back up to the master again and see if we can get any more air out. Alright, so I've opened up the valve and I've pushed the clutch down. But you'll lose all clutch, so you just move it by hand when it's open. And then I pushed on the clutch fork a little bit to get a little bit more, to push some air out. So I'm just going to let that come up and do it again. Push it a little bit more. Put all that air. And then when I let go, it goes back down. So I just release it slowly. So it's like the air bubbles don't move. Slowly move down, but they're not going back in to the system. It could take a little while. There's one about 2 inches from the valve, so got to be careful with that. Alright, so I finished over there on the slave cylinder. I came back to the master again. Just pumped the the clutch pedal down again. I've got some more bubbles coming out. So we'll keep at it. We'll do this a few more times and hopefully we've got a nice clutch pedal. Right, I'm going to start it up, see if I can get it into gear. Alright, just a quick one. Still got the garage door closed. So power on. It goes into gears, guys. But see how the clutch goes. Alright. No. Why? See? Goes into gear. The clutch isn't disengaging enough. Is it the throwout bearing? Maybe. Well, I was hoping I didn't have to pull the engine out, but looks like I have to because I've completely bled the system. There's no bubbles coming out of it at all anymore. Great. Let's get this engine out. Could it actually be that I have the wrong flywheel clutch combo? So the throwout bearing isn't in the right location? Maybe. Alright, pretty sure it's the throwout bearing that's the issue, so let's get this engine out. Alright, jacked it up. We'll drop the coolant out of the radiator, get the radiator out, and we'll start removing intercooler pipes, fuel lines. I haven't taken it out yet since putting the manual in, so we'll see how we go with getting it out with the turbo on. I don't know how that will go. Okay, the radiator is still draining, you can probably hear that. Got the front bar grill off. We need to drain some oil too, so this cooler needs to get disconnected from the sandwich plate. It's going to lose a little bit of oil there. And we'll get the radiator out. Still dribbling out. I've opened it up so it's just free flowing out of the engine. No, out of the radiator. Alright, radiator is out, so now we can start disconnecting some coolant lines that we need to disconnect to get the engine out. And we'll get the power steering pump off to the side. Alright, we are nearly ready to pull it out. We've got one more bolt and a nut on bell housing to get off, and then pitch top mount and the engine mounts, and we should be able to get her out. So I was just looking through here as well. It seems pretty loose. Alright guys, it's another day. I've got the mounts to undo and 2 bell housing bolts to do, and then we can get the engine out. Alright, all mounts are off, bell housing bolts are out, starters off, fuel lines are off, vacuum lines being disconnected, water lines. Am I forgetting something? Oil cooler. I need to, it's going to be easier if I just disconnect it from the oil cooler and drain it there. I think I've got some plugs to put in the lines, and then we can pull the engine out. See the oil filter through there. Alright, my little makeshift plug on that one, and that's just a normal plug. So we are ready to get this out, which will be a little bit later tonight when the kids are in bed. Alright, the engine is about to come out. We have the gearbox jacked up a bit, so we just need to slide it forward. It's high enough out of the mounts on the cross member there, so we should be able to just pull it back and up. Alright, Christmas has come and gone and the engine still isn't out, so I've got a day off today. Alright, I'm going to get the engine and gearbox out together. It's going to be a lot easier, I believe. Plus I still need to do things to the gearbox, like the reverse light switch. So let's drain the oil out of the gearbox, because it will probably end up coming out the back where the tail shaft goes. So drain that, we'll reuse that because it hasn't even rotated, so it'll be all new stuff in there, and pull drive shafts and get this thing out tonight, and fingers crossed back in tonight as well with a fixed clutch. Alright, just drained out 4 litres out of the gearbox. Hasn't even been used. The gears haven't even rotated yet. So let's get it back into this container, and we'll end up putting that back in once it all goes back together. Alright, everything is off on the gearbox. So slave cylinder is disconnected, wiring is disconnected, all the mounts you can see there. There's the cog swapper, the gear knob, gear linkages, everything is out. I've got the jack there, the jack stand under the tail shaft. Let's see if we can get this engine and gearbox out. I have changed the location of the chain from the engine to the pitched up mount location there. So it's centered there, a little bit further back, because this is pretty long compared to the Subaru engine. So hopefully we can get it all out in one. Hopefully the engine crane works. Alright, so I've got some good angle there, and that's as high as the jack goes. So I've got the radiator support out. It's over here. I will work out how to get it back in. Just put a tab across and bolt them together, and then same here. Should be simple, but it's gonna make getting the engine in and out a lot easier, hopefully. Alright, finally got it out as a unit. Now drop it down and pull the gearbox off. I want to do something about this as well without getting a torque solution hard mount. It's just this bolt here, but figure out that I need to change over the black one there. That's the reverse light switch. Put a new one in them. And I need to put on the Tomei belt guide on the front. Alright, finally got it out, off, apart. It was a spigot bearing. It was stuck in the spigot bearing. I had the pry bar in this side, and then I used that big one on here, and I got about 10 mil out. I could just feel it boop, pop out. Yes. So yeah, just got it sitting on the tyre, still on the jack. It's a very small jack, so it's not stable, but I could get the angle right and get it off, which was good. Let's have a look at this. It doesn't seem right, so we'll get the clutch off and see if everything's good. Pretty sure it should be nice and tight on there. Then we'll put back in, and hopefully that's all it was. 5 days to get that off, to do like maybe a 15-minute job. Alright, we'll get all these off. Alright, I'm pretty sure I found the issue. It's to do with the clutch, not the throwout bearing, but the splines on the disc. So I must have stopped them up, trying to get them in, wibbling and wobbling, not putting it straight in. I'm going to see if I can clean them up, and I'll check it with the tool, which is right there, and on the gearbox. And having it out like this, I'll be able to put it straight on, so it should be good. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed I can get it back together tonight. That'd be good. But 10:30 now, so I've already been on it for days and days and days, and about 4 or 5 hours today. But see how we go. Alright guys, it's 2:30 in the morning. The gearbox is back on. So fixed the clutch there. I think I took some video of it. I need to clean up the teeth on the clutch plate. So yeah, it wasn't moving, and we haven't locked this in yet, but there we go. Clutch is locked in now. So tomorrow we'll do the reverse light switch, we'll do the belt guide. Alright guys, it's the next day now. I'm going to do the backup light switch, and we'll do the belt guide, and I'll see if I can tighten up this linkage so we don't have that play there. Alright, there is the part number for a new reverse light switch. There is the old one. So this one here. So get the new one out, put the washer that is supplied with it on, and then plug it in. Alright, so now we need to tighten the sensor up to 24.5 Newton meters. I'll get my little micrometer there and tighten that. So we'll flip it in, plug it in. So the way I'm doing it, I've got a little crow's foot, 19mm crow's foot extension, and then the torque wrench on there. Just break it up, and there we go. Alright, so we are getting the pulley off. We get both can covers off to get the middle cover off, and put the belt guide on. Well, nothing goes as planned. The nuts that are in the back case have rounded, so these don't come out. So I need, I should probably get, I think that is a new one actually. Get a new back on there and a new front one for there, because we have a hole in it. Alright, let's get the belt guide that goes on here. Alright, here is the guide. Goes on like so. Got the hardware in there and instructions, and it tells you the gap as well that we need. Alright, so we have 1 to 0.5 millimeter gap from the belt guide to the belt, and then tighten to 10 Newton meters for the bolts. Cool. Got some Loctite on there too, so we'll get them in, we'll measure, and then we'll tighten up. Alright, so I'm going to go 0.75, so halfway between. So there's 3 points they want you to check. That's a bit too much. I'll loosen them off and see if I can bring it down a bit. Set it at the top. It's a bit hard when it's not a thin one and it can actually bend. So, here. Seems alright. That's the main area. Now, the funny thing is, you can't really adjust it because they're countersunk. So the heads of the bolt restrict the movement. So yeah, well, it's the best I can get. It's definitely more than one. This side, I don't think it'll jump a tooth. It's the main thing, it can't jump a tooth. I'll bring this one up just a little. Yeah. Cool. Now to tighten it to spec. So I've got the micrometer, micro torque wrench, set to 10, probably already there. No. Okay. And the other one. Sweet. Let's get the cover back on. Now we shouldn't have the belt jumping off. Actually, I should get the rear ones for the manual because they have the guides on each corner as well for the belt. That's one thing I should do. Something I can do in the car if I just take the radiator out. Alright, all the covers are back on, pulleys back on and torqued to 127 Newton meters. I'm going to get in here and take out those hard lines for the oil cooler, and I'm going to take out the intercooler piping. So I'm going to change that. It's squished in there and you can see it's getting damaged, and we'll just run it up how the normal kit goes up, but I'll modify it. So eventually this will be forward facing. I don't know if I'm going to put the AC back in, so we might lose the AC. I don't know just yet. It would clear up some space. But I do want to drive this around, so maybe I'll keep it on. I think I just destroyed the condenser trying to get the engine out. You can see I've chopped it as well, so we need to work out how I'm going to get that back in there. Alright, got the trans cooler off. It's over here draining into my waste oil, so we're still full. So cleared up the space in there. We'll get all the brackets off too. Got rid of all the hard lines there, so it's cleared up. Get the intercooler piping off now. You can still set it up without the intercooler piping there. I can just put that one on that has the air intake. Just won't produce any boost just yet, but we'll work that out. Alright guys, I've somewhat prepped the engine bay for the engine to go back in. Now I'm going to end this episode here because I've been working on this for 2 weeks and I need to get a long form video out for you guys. It's been way too long. We've got sensors in, we've got the belt guide on, we've fixed the clutch hopefully, fingers crossed. So I'll edit this, and then once I finish that and start uploading, I'll come out and we'll get this back in. I want to get this done before the end of the year. I've got 2 days. So I want to be able to drive it out of the driveway, or out of the garage,